Welcome to the War Eagle Radio Network for Talons Out Live with head coach Adam Dolan. Talons Out Live takes you in-depth and behind the scenes of the West Carroll War Eagles with stats, comments, and a breakdown of the previous game, plus a look ahead in the schedule. We'll sit down weekly with special guests, players, administration, and the coaches for a look into the locker room. This is Talons Out Live. Welcome to the War Eagle Radio Network. Talons Out Live with Coach Adam Dolan. Moved it back to Wednesday night. Got tonight and one more night in the month of October. It's definitely run through here pretty quick. We've had a fast-paced, busy October, and all of the Halloween stuff's happening tomorrow night, and all the yards have been rolled and everything else. So I guess all is well. The Yankees are trying to make a comeback. So West Carroll won the ball game the other night. So it's just kind of the end of October is kind of getting all pointed in the right direction, I guess. So Adam Welch, how are you tonight, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Good. We talked about this off air. Just kind of tired from a long day's work, but got everything pointing in the right direction, I guess. So maybe all is well. So, and Coach Dolan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. Y'all all right?
Hanging in there. So, a very nice victory on Friday night for West Carroll. Made I guess that would be the longest trip of the year. I think it was longer than the Perry County trip, and so went down there and got to play on the fancy turf, and very beautiful field. But come out there, and I feel like it was a well-oiled machine, a well-oiled, play and turn of events in that game. So you may tell me otherwise here in a few minutes, but kind of let's get a little bit of your overview of that victory the other night against the Memphis Kip.
Very strange week, to say the least. Having to play on Thursday night down in Memphis, that's always a hiccup when you have to go down there anytime. But when you go down there on a Thursday, number one, you just never get to know what you're going to get. As far as you talked about the turf and stuff, and what people didn't say 45 minutes before the game, we're actually cleaning trash up off the field and moving the soccer goals off the field because they were still on the field, and the band was still on the field about the time we went out to warm up. So it was
I know when we got there, the band was still out there doing everything, and the cheerleaders and there was lots of things going on that field whenever we first arrived.
Well, that's Memphis Central's home field, so they have access to it to do what they need to do. But it's an interesting situation down there when you're talking about a Thursday night. But knew that going into it. They changed the format of how we were going to play, so it is what it is. Went down there, and Kip is traditionally last few years they've been pretty good as far as comparing them to some of the 1A teams down there. They're 2A. They're actually about to jump down to 1A, but they were a lot younger this year. They were very old last year. They come up to our place. They had 17 seniors and a bunch of kids out there that played a lot of football, and they were not very much like that. So anytime you can. Not sure what you're going to get. They hadn't played in a few weeks because of fall break and their bye week and just however it felt. We didn't really know what we were going to get from an offensive defensive point of view. So the game plan, kind of where we're going with things now due to the injuries that we've talked about multiple times the last couple of weeks, we were more efficient on offense. We're kind of getting somewhere with what we're trying to do is even though it's completely different than what we were doing. Anytime you can, have over 480 yards of offense and not throw a pass, that's beautiful to some people's eyes. Other people might say it's a beautiful way to play off or ugly way to play offense, but it's effective if you're doing it right. But defensively, we had hiccups and stuff on that, but our special teams played pretty well, and we did some good things there. But offensively, control the clock, and we did something that most of those kids had probably never seen before as far as played against down there. So That was neat to see. Got our guys some confidence going into this week and into the playoffs on offense that we needed. Being able to see what we're doing now will pay off if you do it right and execute it. So all in all, it was a good night. Got down there, stayed pretty healthy, and got back without any hiccups.
I guess talk about the next day. Was there a lot of was there a lot of grogginess, a lot of abstinence? What is the, was they absent? I can't say that
Uh,
word apparently.
I mean, when you play a Thursday game, you get some of that. I'll be honest. If I played a Thursday night football game and I played every snap like some of our kids did, no, they were not going to see me in school. I'm going to be I'm going to be sore. Like if you haven't played in a football game and played 130 snaps, you just don't know. That's
Yeah,
all I can say to people as politely as I can tell you. But you just don't know how you're going to feel.
yeah.
So you've been in a series of car wrecks. So most of our guys were at school for the most part, and we had some guys that were there and they were fine, and we had some guys that weren't there, and it's just part of it. We were able to get some things done Friday and get some house cleaning done, and get some film looked at and film broke down, and got a jump start on the weekend, so to speak. But the main thing was coming out of it on a short week, coming out of it, pretty unscathed to the injuries and stuff like that. So it was good. I've coached in multiple Thursday night games, and they are an issue. But I would rather play a Thursday night game than a Saturday game. So there's at least that. So there was a lot of good come from Thursday night.
Well, at least it turned out good as far as the win column, and at least you had, I guess, enough of the main folks that you knew that would be there Friday to be able to look through the film and things like that. So, um, yeah, it seemed like all in all, it was, I say, in my eyes, a well played game. It seemed like things went the direction that you wanted them to go, and the things that you were looking for. Do you got any comments as far as that goes? Like, I mean, were you looking at it? Did it play out the way that you were looking at it? Going into that game.
I thought so because I mean, I'm trying to be this way, but they were not. They're not any good. They're really bad. So one thing we've tried to preach since the first of the season with some of the teams we played is when you got a chance to beat somebody bad, beat them bad. Don't give them any life. And we had a few hiccups early on defense, but we kind of got that kind of smoothed out a little bit. I'd say a little bit. We still got a lot of work to do in that regard, but offensively, when you possess the ball like we're trying to do, I thought offensively, we played very well as far as the execution standpoint. There wasn't very many times, the week before against Camden. Camden did some good things against us. Uh, I don't think, looking back at it retrospectively, I didn't have a great plan as far as how we were going to play them on offense. I think we were doing too much too soon, and we kind of scaled a few things back and got them hopefully worked out going forward for the rest of the season, and was able to get that on film against Kip, who was a far weaker opponent, but still you still got to go out there and execute. You still got to go out there and do the things you're supposed to, and we played pretty clean and didn't have a lot of issues, so that was good. Got a lot of multiple people involved in the offense as far as on the offensive line, in the ball carrying role. We shared that some as far as some different guys carrying the ball, which probably going to see that some going forward. But like we've been doing. But no, I mean it was a good night as far as how we performed when we needed to do what. I mean, it doesn't matter who you play. Sometimes you got to execute what you do every day in practice, whatever that is, regardless of the opponent. Sometimes the opponent affects that and how you do it. A lot of times they affect it, but you still have a baseline of things that no matter what, you control what you do as far as how you're doing it. And the opponent is just one of the factors. It's not always the main factor. And we saw some things that definitely on film we thought we could take care of and exploit, and we were able to handle that.
So, before we get into these stats, I was I'll be honest with you. I had a hard time paying attention to what you were just saying. I can see all of y'all or both of y'all while you're just on the screen by yourself, and Adam's got the baseball game right up there to his left, and I kept looking up there, seeing him glance up there. So, them bases loaded don't look too good right now,
No,
does it?
it don't.
I was getting tickled and looking at you glancing up there every now and then. But Adam, let's take a look at some of those stats from the game on Friday night, and kind of some of the things that may stand out to you a little bit more than others.
58-22 victory for West Carroll. First downs, West Carroll with 20, Memphis Kip with 5. Passing yards, Kip with 136 passing yards. Total offensive plays, West Carroll 42 for 402 yards. Memphis Kip 21 total offensive plays for 180 yards. Penalties, West Carroll 5 penalties for 41 yards. Memphis Kip 4 penalties for 29 yards. Time of possession, West Carroll 40 minutes and 27 seconds. Memphis Kip 11 minutes 35 seconds. Individual stats for West Carroll: Mason Taylor 18 carries, 246 yards and 5 touchdowns. Zach Fowler 6 carries, 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zach Hames 6 carries for 44 yards. And Trendon Kirby 9 carries for 43 yards. For Memphis Kip, it was Kevin Garrett 2 carries for 43 yards. Kyle O'Neal 6 carries for 26 yards for Memphis Kip. Kylon Taylor 3 out of 7 in the air passing for 104 yards and 1 touchdown pass with a long of 62. That was Zion Jefferson on that 62-yard touchdown catch. He had 3 catches for 103 yards. Christopher Ferris had 1 catch for 33 yards for Memphis Kip. For West Carroll defensively, Eli Travelstead with 3 tackles. For Memphis Kip, you had Kylan Cooper with 7 tackles in the ball game. I look at this game, look at the execution and everything, but let's talk about Mason Taylor's performance. 18 carries, 246 yards, 5 touchdowns. Coach, are you hoping this is the confidence boost that he could really use right now, especially a good weapon for you going toward the end of the year here and into the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. Mason's done a good job all year. He's been, thrown in a lot of roles, especially on defense, playing every snap on defense. He's played a ton of offense this season as well at different spots, him carrying the load like he is, that's good to see for a freshman, because at this time of year, they're playing middle school basketball. So, you kind of get to a lull with your freshmen at the end of the year where their body is, they're not accustomed to this. And all our freshmen, to be honest, have done a good job all season long, staying, pretty engaged. And, it's just sometimes hard for a freshman to understand when you move up and things like that, how it goes. And our guys have been, spoke to Trendon a minute ago. Trendon, last couple of weeks playing a ton of snaps. He played a lot on defense, but he's been playing a lot more on offense. And they're doing a great job for us, and their future's really bright. But Mason definitely ran the ball hard. Did it in middle school. He's done it when he's had a chance this year. Of course, we got things to improve on. He knows that. All our kids know that, but him being able to run the football has never been a question. It's just, the right timing and understand what we're wanting and how we're changing what we're doing now. It really fits him, He's he's physically, there for a freshman, his weight's not in question. He's got good weight room numbers. He plays real hard. He's aggressive. So him physically has never been a concern. So I'm not surprised he had the night that he had. I said I figured we are going to have some guys in the next couple of weeks are going to have some breakout moments as far as not really breakout to us because we know we see it every day. We know they've got the ability to do it. It's just them doing it against another opponent. But yeah, this week going forward, Mason's going to have another, great game for us to have a chance here to, move the ball on offense and be efficient. But great to see him do it because, he does it the right way. He practices hard. He loves it. So anytime you get paid off and rewarded in a game like that, it's great for those young guys.
Coach, you talked a little bit about adding in new wrinkles. Talk a little bit about how important that is this time of the year, adding in a new wrinkle that teams haven't seen as you get toward the playoff, but also at the same time not overcomplicating things either. How it's kind of a fine line.
It definitely is a fine line, and that is an issue this time of year. And unfortunately, we had to do that because of all the injuries and really shifted what we're doing offensively. And I can't express how much of a shift that's been. And I'm very, very proud of our guys for just coming to work, coming to practice, and doing what we're asking to do, because it is, as a coaching staff, we feel like it's the best thing we can do for our players' abilities and what we're doing right now, and it fits us in a mentality standpoint. And there's a lot more to go with that, and there's a lot more we can do with that. But it's a double-edged sword sometimes. I kind of spoke of it earlier. I think I tried to do a little too much in certain aspects on offense the 2 weeks ago against Camden, and not that it's never the idea is bad. It can be on either side of the football. It can be in special teams. It can be in whatever you do. The idea is not bad. It's just sometimes you just don't have enough time to get where you need to with it. And even when you think that it's not a big deal, it's hard for a coach, because you see it and you think of it a certain way. You got to make sure you get that related to the kids a certain way. And we wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to do that. So the way I needed to do it for our guys. This last week, overemphasizing some things. And we did do a few new wrinkles, and we executed a lot better. So, that's, kudos to the kids for being able to do that. We executed it a lot better, and we did some things we hadn't shown. Some of that we hope to keep going forward with, because you just get to a point where you can add things in, and you want to chunk it. You want to do so many things a week to add to it. We've got some things we're going to do this week that we've been planning on doing for 3 weeks. It's just now it's time to do it, so to speak. And it might not look like a big deal, but to the kids, it could be something, pretty different. Some of it might not be any change to a couple players on the field, and some it might be a big deal. So it's a fine line doing that. When this time of year, your kids are accustomed to stuff, and you want them to have all that muscle memory from all the reps that they're getting. But there's coaches that are, they're working too, and they're going to coach their teams to the tendencies that you put out there and show on film, and they'll have their guys ready to exploit that and take advantage of it, see it, know how to react and play it. And you're not trying to mess with their mind, but some of it's kind of a little gamemanship as well. But it's also can you add some things in that work against what that team does? And every team has different ways of playing certain things. And this week against McKenzie, of course, we got some things that we think work against them that we probably wouldn't even try it against Kip, because it just wasn't any need to do it. Sure. So, and that's always a weekly thing. Everybody out there, I don't care what coach and what team it is, they're always got something. That's why it's called a game plan. There is a different plan each week. Even though it might be the same plays you run, you might tweak one or two things on it.
Talk a little bit about your defense this year. It's been a roller coaster ride. You've obviously dealt with some injuries, which has made it tough. But talk how resilient some of those guys have been this year.
Oh, definitely. Resilience is a great word to say for a lot of our kids this year. Old guys and young guys. Defensively, I guess I've coached more as a coordinator on the defensive side of the ball, way more than that offensively. I've never in my life seen a situation that we've been handed on defense, even from the first game of the season, even back in June. From the depth issues we've had to, the sheer number of defensive backs we have, when you tell you, like, well, you've got another guy or two in behind. Well, I can't tell this enough. We haven't been able to practice a full scout team this year.
Yeah.
None. Can't. We have not been able to go 11 versus 11
ever. Yeah.
No, we can't. We can't do it.
Yeah.
We don't have the humans to do it, and that's tough. But yeah, when you play with 4 defensive backs the majority of every snap of the game, and you've got 5 left on the team, and one of them is an 8th grader, or 2 of them is an 8th grader.
That's pretty.
I've never in my life heard anything like this, and our guys are making the best of it. But we're unfortunately, and I don't say unfortunately as far as it's not we're not doing a decent job with what the hand is and how it was dealt. But, the way we're structured on defense and how we're playing now is 100% different than what we have done for the last 3 years here.
Last year, especially, yeah.
Oh, last year and the year before,
Yeah.
structurally on the defensive line, the linebackers, just because of what we have right now and how we're rolling with it. So, yes, we are, we've definitely had some issues on defense. But the other night, we did a lot of things better than we had done, even against Brewston when we got a win, and even against Camden when we, didn't play well and didn't have a chance to win that game very early on with how we played. So, we did some really good things. It's just they don't show up in the stat sheet, and that's the things you look for on defense is the first second of the football, when the ball snapped, the right steps and hand placement, eyes, and where they're at, all that good stuff that you don't see most of the time. If we continue to do that, we'll have our chance come, the next couple weeks. And that's something that's good to see. Resilient, like you said, our kids being able to bounce from one thing to another and just listening to the coaches that they, the coaching that they get every day from all the coaches we have and going out there each week and here's what's been asked of me and we'll go out here and try to do it the best I can. And we've got to, our team is a large group of guys that are definitely trying to do that for us.
You look at it like what you was talking about, the resilience and the defense and things like that. We've looked at it a couple times on those games where they've been down in the score and they never give up. But I feel like we saw the same exact thing at Memphis Kip the other night. Even though we were up, they still played to their full potential. It seemed like from where we were sitting, they played to their full potential, even though they were up in the ball game, just as the same as they did when they were down in the others.
Yeah, and that's something that we are trying to get a point across is the scoreboard is really, guys, irrelevant of how you play the game. It really is. Now, the only thing the scoreboard matters a lot of times is how you're going to call things during the game, sure, but your effort should never change. That if the bulbs are not lit up and not on, it does not matter. And that's the point that people need to take away from it. If you haven't played this game, like there's never a time of let up. If you're letting up, you're wrong. Like you're 100% wrong. It doesn't matter what the score is because when you let up in this game, this is when you get injured. It's different than other sports. When you're not playing as hard as you can, that's when you get hurt a lot of times, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, most of our issues, the other night was very strange. It was very humid for an October night. Both teams had some cramp issues. We hadn't had to deal with a whole lot of that lately, and we fought that at the beginning of the season. We went and we did a very, very good job handling that this season under the circumstances. And it was warm, and we got fatigued as the game went on. Sure, we're not playing a ton of bodies, so the only times I can say that is, I don't think our effort has been fine until the moment you get fatigued, but we still have to find a way to fight. Fight through the fatigue and all that stuff, and that even when people don't like it, when you're getting coached to fight through some things like that through the adversity, it goes a long way. And it's not for the moment then, it's for the moment in the future that, to come that you can pull back to. But our second half was good to see. The second half against Camden was exactly where we needed to be. We had a lot of fight, and it didn't matter if it was the Camden's ones or the twos that were in. We did some good things, and it didn't matter if we were up by a mercy rule and Kip. We were still doing things on offense well, and defensively we did some good things. So we are making strides in how we are playing the game, and it's not win or lose. It's not up or down. It's not how much time or what quarter. It's literally just play after play. After each play, reset and try to play the next play. And that it sounds so simple, but it's not that simple. And they talk about it even to the guys that make millions of dollars on TV, all the way to, down here at our level where we're playing for, fun and love the game and things like that. So being able to click, reset, play the next play is harder than you played the first play is an extremely hard thing to do. And it sounds simple, I know, but it's not. And we talk about it a lot. We harp on it during the game a lot. So, and that'll never change. We just got to get to the point to where, playing hard and people that are congratulating you for how hard you play, that's the standard. It's never supposed to be about anything else. Like, of course we're going to play hard. That's what our brand is going to be, and I want it to be noticeable how hard we play. Like that is hopefully that's going to be the trademark going forward. Like win or lose, like we just play hard and over the top kind of playing hard, and that'll carry you a long way.
Let's talk a little bit about going forward now with McKenzie coming in. Coach, one of the few undefeated teams left in Class A right now. Talk a little bit about the mindset going into this game. Playing McKenzie, what are some of the things, anytime we hear this phrase in every sport, but what are some of the things you're going to try to do to hopefully maybe try to slow them down and try to get your kids to execute as best they can as far as maybe some things you're going to try to do against McKenzie?
I mean, that's the thing about execution on offense. I don't sugarcoat it with our guys. We're up against a tall task this week. But styles make fights. Styles make games. What they do on defense, we've seen a lot. It's a version of what we do on defense, very much so. Against how we play, are they going to play something different that they haven't done a whole lot, which would be an advantage to us? Or are they going to do with their base stuff? And not to get too into the X's and O's and the schematic, jargon that comes with all that, but we have some things that we like on the, on paper, on the whiteboard, on the practice field, if they do a couple different things. Now, the level of human that's on the field for them and Kip is far different. So, and they play really, really hard. They're well taught, well coached, and have a lot of ability. They've got every little compliment you want to add to a football team at this level. They've got it right now. Hodge, Coach Comer for him and his staff. Coach Hodge has come in and doing some things different, but doing some things the same too, and doing a great job. And they are ranked number one in the state for a reason. They are the odds-on favorite to go to the state championship, game to win. They've earned all those accolades. They've performed the way they have.
Sure.
If they go this year to Chattanooga, that's the fourth year in a row, and win or lose. And you look at it from a paper standpoint. A lot of people will say the only way that they won't go to Chattanooga is if the bus crashes. I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's true.
Union City might have something to say about that, or Mace, or any of us. We're going to go out there and play as hard as we can. I believe our guys have shown that, and I believe we will do that. I'd like to see some improvement in the way we handled a tough task against Camden, them. I think we'll play offense at a better execution point. And what I mean by execution is not the points. Hopefully we get more, of course, and I think we can if we just do some of the things the right way. But there's a certain style of execution that we're looking for on also a crispness, if you will, crispness of how fast we do certain things, and not about how fast the player is, but how fast the execution of certain things is and are. So want to see that defensively. It's going to be tough. I mean, their quarterback, their receivers, their O-line, they're really, really, really well skilled on offense. We've got a tough time at, linebacker and DB of keeping those guys in front of us, rallying around, tackling those guys in space. I think we can, if we can get some pressure on the quarterback, and we have at points this year, that he will. They've tried to force some balls into some spots. So we can do our jobs, get to where we can close some windows down in the zone and play our, when we're in man, stay tight to the hip and be in phase and do the things that, they're coached to do. Just go out there and play hard. You never know how to go if you can get some breaks here and there, because it is going to be tough. But, we try to tell our kids all the time, if we can possess the ball, several drives of 12, 13, 14, 15 plays where they don't have it on offense, and we control the clock like we did against Kip and Brewston. Yep. They can't score, and hopefully we're getting it down there where we can score. And then you look up and you got a tight one, and no one out there is going to think that would be possible. But that's why the style that we're trying to play with now lends itself to help us defensively too, and that's something that I'm a big believer in. And I think most coaches are, if they think about it, is your offense and defense need to marry and match up. in a lot of ways, So I think ours is kind of married to each other defensively. We want them to take long drives if we can. Offensively, we want to have long drives and pay off at the end. But yeah, we know what this is about. They're a good team. Last year, we knew the same thing going into it, and we went over there and played really well in the first half. We had the ball 4th and 8 or 9 in their territory, down a score in the second quarter or 2 scores. Had a chance to go in there and cut it to 1 score. We were driving the ball and didn't convert. Like most of those guys are back. So it's not an impossible feat or anything like that. It's football. So I do believe that if we can execute, we can look up and be in a game that no one else thought. So it's just going out there and executing and doing it.
Give me your top 3 keys to success for Friday night.
Number one, definitely going to be, execution on offense. Not saying you don't want it to be more, but, if we can just get 3 yards. Can we get 3 yards a carry, 3 and 4 yards a carry? That seems so simple. It's not against a good team, really
right.
not. So, especially, they got some grown men out there, and we got some kids that are a year away from getting their driver's permit, not license. So,
literally.
Let's be fair about that. So, if we can get through, and we got guys, our young guys are playing hard, and they're getting better each week. So it's not. I'm not being disparaging to them. It's just,
it's a tough task.
It is a tough task. This is a game of. It's different if you're throwing a ball or hitting the ball or shooting a ball to where the ball is being manipulated. This is not a contact sport. This is a collision sport. You got young grown men going against, young teenagers, and it's just different. Physics are different. So we've got some guys that, even though their youth and their grade level next to their name or their whatever has done a good job against old kids all year, they just got to continue to do it and now execute at a higher level. And we saw that last week against. It didn't matter the opponent. If there was nobody on the field, the execution was better. So we just got to continue to improve on that. And I like some of the things that we could do on offense against them. I do. There's some things that I think we can exploit given the certain kind of looks that we might get and what we figure we'll get from, history and film and things like that from what they've done.
Yeah.
So, you get 3 and 4 yards of carry, you're in 2nd and 7 and 6, you're in 3rd and, 4 and 3, you're in 4th and 1 and 2, and you convert, and that drive gets long. That is a bad feeling when you're on defense. As a player, been there. As a coach, it's bad. Like knowing they're not doing anything crazy against you. They just, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of thing. And it's just moving the ball slowly down the field, let that clock run, because our best friend on defense is going to be us having the ball on offense. And not that we can't do some things on defense to get them. I think we do. But the offensive execution is key number 1. And that kind of leads into, keys 2 and 3 is if we're executing properly, then we're taking care of not turning the football over and not having pre and post snap penalties on offense. To go with that defensively is, can we tackle in space? If we can tackle in space pretty well, then we've got a chance on defense. Can the first guy get the guy down? Will be the big thing in space. And, those things right there are going to be, the major points of the game.
Last question. Talk about the playoff scenarios. I've looked at it a little bit. Possibility of for West Carroll possibly going to Wayne County possibly.
Well, Wayne County's out of it as far as that goes.
Okay.
It's as open as you can imagine. I would have loved to say, hey, I got to work a little bit ahead too. Nope. We've got some ideas. Right now it could be 4 teams. It could legit be 4 teams. You could be going to Richland. You could be going to Moore County. You could be going to Eagleville, or oddly enough, going to Huntland. And the Huntland trip, if y'all think Perry County's far or Memphis is far, Huntland is a clip. When I lived in Shelbyville and coached in Shelbyville, Huntland was a decent drive from us in Shelbyville. So it's It's over there now. It's south of Winchester, and if you've never been to Winchester, then you're getting down there close to Chattanooga. So Huntland would be a clip. Now that's the least likely scenario, but it is a scenario nonetheless. I think the two best scenarios are going to be Eagleville and Richland.
That's what I thought. Eagleville, yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, Eagleville, we played them last year at home. Eagleville is an easy, I mean, as far as getting on the bus and driving, you're on the interstate almost the whole way. You take 840 around.
Right before Murfreesboro, right?
Yeah. You get off before Murfreesboro. I think it might be, I can't remember the exit number. It's the same one I took every time when I went to Shelbyville. You drive through Eagleville to go there. It's like 10 or 15 minutes off of there. It's actually an easy drive. It just takes a minute. And then Richland is down there in Giles County in a town called Linville is where the school is.
Richland's not too far from like Columbia and.
No, it's south of Columbia. You're right.
Yeah. Pulaski.
Yeah, it's in the same county as Pulaski. You would basically, you would take, I think you would basically take 64.
840 and 65 down there. Yeah. And it looks like the same thing, for Huntland. You take a hot left at Pulaski, and like you said, you're almost down there at the Alabama line, and it's showing 3 hours and 30 minutes.
The best way to go to Huntland is probably go interstate to 40, then go to Nashville 840, and then down 65 south, and then when you get to 64, take it east, and that would be the best way. But living down that area, Huntland is down there by itself, and they're a traditional 1A school, and that would be interesting as far as we've seen one piece of film on them, and as far as X's and O's and schematics, it would be great for us. They would want to run the ball right at you, which is good for us because we can hold up to it. And defensively, we would have, I think we'd have an athleticism. We'd be superior in that category. They've played some games this year where they've surprised a few teams down there and won some games, so they're in the spot they are. They were picked last in their region, and they've got a chance to win it. So that, for them, that's huge. Eagleville, a lot of the kids that we played last year are back. They kind of, to be honest with you, underachieved in the middle part of the season. They kind of turned it on the last couple of weeks. Richland is the biggest school out of that mix. They were 2A, and they're down to 1A now. They do some interesting things on offense. I think they're coached pretty well on offense. Their quarterback is a good player. He throws it around pretty good. I've watched that. They do some things on the perimeter that kind of, we would like to see stay inside of us. But on offense, on defense, looking at some of the things they do on defense, I think it would bode well for us when we're on offense, for sure. I think our offensive line and tight ends and backs would have a strength and weight advantage on them. So, if we have to go play them, a 4 versus 1, no one will give us a chance, and I absolutely love it. If we can go into it, healthy and ready to go with the right mindset, that could be a big deal, and you never know. We could be getting, a little bit healthier in some ways. So I'm going to leave that out there. Just kind of, hoping for the best on that part.
Was that a tease of things to come? Just a little. Huh?
I'm going to use a term that if you are, if you're a wrestling geek like I am, that is not a prediction, but a spoiler. Kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, we look forward to that, whatever that may be. So that's good stuff. So, Adam, you got anything else?
No, that's it, man.
Something I do want to bring up and let everybody know, which I think it posted about 9 minutes ago. I had it scheduled and ready to rock, but and want to talk with you, Coach Dolan, a little bit about it. This Saturday, the junior high coach, Coach Bain, has asked us to broadcast the Centennial Bank Middle School Football All-Star Game. And so we've done that the last 2 or 3 years. And so Adam, Don, and there's a feller from Henry County named Dallas that's going to come take my spot. I will be with my son in Smyrna for a band competition, but we're going to get it broadcast. It's going to be on the YouTube side only. But Coach Dolan, you know how worth those 8th graders have been to you and your high school deal. Talk a little bit about all of these eighth graders, seventh and eighth graders, whoever they may be and wherever they may be coming from. How big is this game coming up on Friday night to get to showcase your middle school talents and be the best of the best that is coming together at West Carroll on Saturday night?
It's an interesting deal. We didn't have that. We didn't have anything like that when I was in high school, and that would have been fun to play in. I mean, it's just a chance to, anytime a game has the term All Star to it, that makes you, have some pride about yourself that you've worked to earn that status, I guess you can call it.
Right.
Whatever that may be, and getting chosen by coaches and in the different regions and conferences those teams play in, and those kids coming around, and just get another chance to play again. I mean, anytime you get to play again when it's not guaranteed is very special, just like the playoffs are, or anything like that. So no, we've got a couple guys in it. We've got two guys playing in it, Jason Roberts and Ethan Baker. I'm sure they'll do a great job in that. We've hosted it for the last few years, and that's been good for our booster club. Has been able to work it and use it as kind of like a fundraiser type of thing, and that's been great. So we've had some guys like Mason played in it last year, and we had Jason Zach playing a couple years ago, and other guys beforehand. Those guys that you hear their names on Saturdays, they're going to be contributors to their team as early as maybe next year as a freshman. Look at us this year. So. Or down the road, if they play sometimes at a bigger school, you might not hear their name until maybe their sophomore or junior year. But no, anytime you get to play when it's not a guaranteed game, it's not on the schedule, that is special as a player, because you never know when it might be your last time to do it. So you got to take advantage of it. But that is exciting. I'm glad that there's things like that now. You got multiple All-Star games for high school kids at the end of the season, your seniors, and saying that leads us to Friday night's our senior night. We're going to try to get everything going around 6:35, 6:40. 20, half hour, a little bit after a half hour. Close to our game. Representing our three guys that we've got in our program. Jaden Milton. Don't have to say much about what he's done and what he's meant for our program this year, even though he's injured. But this year, last year, his sophomore year when I was here, for my first year, like, what he's meant to us as as a football player for us, he's done a great job. His stats, you can go on about that. You got Tice Reed, been out here, played 4 years, started last year every game on the defensive line. This year, played both sides of the ball. The transformation in who he's become as a young man, the transformation his body has went through, the work that he put in the weight room, on the practice field, to get better, to get in a place to where he can play the amount of snaps that he has been awesome and impressive, and very proud of the young man. And then Zach Hames, coming out, not playing football until his sophomore year, not even, being a guy that's in a homeschool program, coming and playing. He is a great kid, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's a great young man. He's going to do great things in life. Very respectful, very humble, hard worker, done a great job for us in a variety of roles, just learning the game on the fly, being asked to do all kinds of things that he didn't get to experience all the way up. It's just a tough thing to do if you hadn't done it. And he's come out and yes sir, no sir, goes about his business the way he's wanted to. He's been a joy to coach. Super, super happy to coach all of them. Super proud of those guys. So, represent how they've represented us has been awesome. I love being their coach. Got a couple more weeks, of course, hopefully quite a few more weeks going forward. So, those three guys will definitely, show some appreciation and gratitude to those guys. And then also got cheerleaders, got 2 senior cheerleaders and a couple band members that are going to be represented and appreciated. So not a lot of seniors to go around, but in the different programs, but nonetheless, we're going to have them out there and, talk about them and let them have a send off from, here in Atwood.
Yeah, and if at all possible, I'll kind of maybe put this on your shoulders just a little bit. Maybe next week, if we can possibly see if we can get those seniors on the Talons Out show. I don't know, we'll let it be up to them if they want to be on it or not. And even if we need to maybe meet in a central location, the field house or something, we can run up there and have our show from there or something. But
Yeah,
we
we
need
can
to.
arrange that. And, I think I think that'd be up for. That'd be pretty neat. Let me kick that around and see how we could do that. What night would be best? We'll of course talk after we get off the air, but we can figure that out for sure.
All right. Yeah, and as far as the senior cheerleaders, we'll get them on our broadcast during the basketball season. It'll be easy to just kind of pull them over from the side of the court and talk to them at halftime or something. But as far as your three seniors on the team, yeah, I mean they've done an excellent job, and we need to, like I said, if they want to, we need to see if we can get them on here to talk a little bit about what they've accomplished and the things that they've done throughout their 4 years and such with us and stuff. So we'll discuss that a little bit more and kind of figure that out. And we may have to move it to Sunday or Wednesday or something again next week. And because I've got some basketball testing to do for broadcast. I think we've got a former camera operator coming back to. Yeah, we need to see if we can talk to them seniors maybe and get them on here. But yeah, we got a big weekend of football coming up. If you're unable, you need to come on out, especially that the Friday night. Bring your cowbells, as Coach Dolan always says. Bring your cowbells, make a lot of noise, cheer on our guys. If you're unable to be there, Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7. And then don't forget the support the youngsters. This junior high all-star game. Even if you don't have anybody in your family that's in this game, come on out to West Carroll. I posted it on the Warrior Radio Network Facebook page, so people need to get out there and share that, and let them know that that what it's happening. But Hometown Grocery Daily pregame show for that will be at 5:00, and the kickoff at 5:30 on Saturday evening. So got a lot of stuff to look forward to. The senior night activities on Friday, and come out there and, like we said, bring your cowbell, support the seniors, support the final regular season game. Maybe we can come out here and shock the world, so to speak, and maybe change our course of direction to Middle Tennessee when we get to the 8th. So,
Right.
Like you said, there's several different scenarios out there the way that works, and we'll be in conjunction with each other. Shoot me a text message or something once we kind of figure out who that's going to be, and that way we can make work plans, work arrangements, and
The
all
easiest
that.
way, that we know it is if Richland wins on Friday, that's where we go. So if Richland wins, we're 100% going there. They'll win the region. Regardless of how our game goes, I think we're locked into the 4 based off what McEwen has done, because they've got the head-to-head on us. So we're pretty much locked into the 4. If Richland loses and Eagleville wins, then we'll be going to Eagleville, and that's the 2 most likely scenarios. There's a bunch of other stuff that would happen for the other 2, but those are the 2 most likely.
Hey, there's probably I know what Adam's thinking. There's probably some really good places to eat around both of those places. So he's always asking where we're going to eat when we go to these places. So, but hey, we'll go make it happen. Your guys have been relentless throughout the entire season. So, wherever that leads us, we'll make it happen. But one game at a time. We got Friday night to take care of first.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I reckon that'll do it, and we'll talk to everybody on Friday night, the Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7. And don't forget about the All-Star game on Saturday evening, 5 and 5:30 for that. So we'll make it happen. So Adam Welch, appreciate you. As always, Coach Dolan, appreciate you giving us the insight, and we'll see what we do, make it happen going forward.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that'll do it. So on behalf of Adam Dolan, Adam Welch, I'm Jonathan Gowan, and we will talk to you Friday night on the War Eagle Radio Network.